The weather has been gorgeous, and I actually had a gin and tonic late in the afternoon one weekend, and I had some yarn to spin, so I figured that that meant that this had to be a gin and spin video, since I actually had gin for this video, and that hasn't happened. That hasn't happened in a while. It's usually been coffee or tea. So for this particular spin, I wanted to use a bunch of scrap fiber that I had from last time I was making bats. So it was kind of about 4 ounces of random mixed fiber that was all clean and had all been carded a couple times, but was all just in this bag somewhat unceremoniously. So I thought the colors all went good together. They were kind of blues and greens and creams and naturals. There was bamboo, there's some sari silk, there's, man, what else? I think some regular silk. There all sorts of things, different types of wool, all blended into these different bats. Like I said, these were leftover sections, and I thought they would be fun to spin together. My end result is going to be a kind of bulky 2-ply. So I wanted to spin them with some air and some fluff and, kind of more rustic looking singles, which is why you don't see me doing a ton of pre-drafting here. I'm pretty much just pulling the fibers straight, blending a few together, making sure everything is going to spin smoothly, but not getting too, not getting too excited about making it really thin and perfect, just making sure that it is easy to draft. And you can see it's such soft, fluffy fiber. It's from leftover bats from my subscriptions, and I've really enjoyed this little project. Didn't really have too much of a plan or rhyme or reason here. They were just scraps that I thought went together, and I was just kind of consciously mixing the fibers as I was spinning. So I would spin a little bit of the darker section, and then I would make sure that the next group I got was one of the lighter sections. Sometimes I would hold the two sections together so they would kind of marble together as I was spinning. And since my end goal is a 2-ply, I'm not too worried about it being color pooling because, the likelihood of it being all in one section once I 2-ply it together, is pretty small, I think. And I've done yarns like this before, and I've always liked how the colors have come out. So those are my only suggestions as far as colors go if you're doing sort of a scrap fiber spin, is just have fun. Yeah, there you see I can mix a little bit of the light and the dark together. I just held them next to each other so the fibers were caught at the same time while drafting. And I have my spinning wheel, I believe, on a middle setting because I didn't want it to be so twisty that I couldn't, easily mix stuff in by hand. So I didn't want to be fighting with the uptake too much. So a nice middle setting, and then trying not to spin too fast. This video is sped up a little bit just for the sake of it not being super crazy long, so it looks like I'm spinning faster than I'm actually spinning, so please take note of that. I'm so glad the weather has been nice, and I'm so excited to have more time on the weekends. You can see just kind of hanging out with my family and working on some fun projects. And stay tuned for part 2, where you will see this plied and see what the final yarn turns out as.